He told me about the time he was on his way to the airport. He had to catch a flight to Waterloo, Iowa for a wedding. And as he was driving, it was pre-dawn, he saw a UFO shaped like an arrow. At first, it wasn't very bright. But as it got brighter, he noticed a crystal, a giant diamond, and it shot a beam to the ground. And he said at that point, it ignited the whole UFO. And the scene was so bright, it blinded him and it knocked him to the ground. And the noise, it was loud. Piercingly loud. When he came to, there was a man, his wife, a little girl on crutches, and a black standard poodle. He said, "Take me to the hospital, please." When he got to the hospital, he was still blind. And he was scared that he'd never recover his sight. And then it occurred to him that he'd seen a light and heard a sound just like that. And it happened 1941. There was this physicist who invited industrialists to his laboratory to see a demonstration of what he called the infinitely bright, infinitely small source of light, a perpetual energy and light source. In the audience, there was John D. Rockefeller Jr., George Westinghouse, and Henry Ford. And he told me that the physicist said in a very, very deep voice, he must have been Eastern European or maybe Russian. And he said, "I am going to demonstrate this light for only a half a second at only 10 to the 32nd power of its potential, because this room is too small to contain such a burst of energy." Well, I guess the photographer was given special film from Eastman Kodak Company of Rochester, New York, because the blast was so bright. And everybody wore dark glasses. And then he counted down. He had to kind of prime it a bit. You saw this little reddish light with an aura. And then he said, 3, 2, 1, and boom! It knocked the man against the wall. And then when the burst ended, the industrialists were talking among themselves, and when they were talking about snuffing him out. He would have been, this invention would have destroyed everything. It would have rendered their businesses obsolete, and they wouldn't have been able to monetize this invention. So they talked among themselves. "Oh, we've got to snuff him out. We've got to snuff him out like that." Like that.